of phrasing for mechanical advantage or gear ratios as a ratio with a colon. So we've calculated that the mechanical advantage is 0.3. Another way of saying that would be 0.3 to 1 or 3 to 10. So actually multiplying this by 10 to get the 3, multiply 1 by 10 to get 10. So then that way it's a ratio with whole numbers instead. Now let's see. Let's go ahead and write those. That this is also 3 colon 10 is an appropriate way to write that as well. You could even write it as 3 over 10. That would be acceptable as a ratio to show this relationship. As long as basically we're getting like 3/10, that's what we're looking for, would be the correct answer here. Now, I'm not going to make you write it all down, but if we switch this, the IMA of the wheel driving the axle, let's say that this is actually a steering wheel, then we would just invert those numbers. Then if we're applying our effort force out here, then the 20 would be going on top because the effort distance is on top, and our resistance distance would then be the axle, and then that would go on the bottom. So 20 divided by 6 would give us 3.3 repeating, which about 2 3s here is acceptable. I'm not going to go crazy about significant figures right now. So 3.33 or 3.33 to 1. I guess you could say 33 to 10, but now we're just kind of splitting hairs. So let's go ahead and move on to calculating actual mechanical advantage with this wheel. So you're given these values. Let's say we're applying 200 pounds of force at the axle, and then we're running into a resistance of 70 pounds at the wheel. So let's say the AMA, if the wheel is driving the axle in this example, that makes a little bit more sense for that to be 70. The whole point of having, well, I guess it makes sense either way. The whole point of having a steering wheel and not just grabbing onto that steering column is that you have some more leverage. So if we're calculating the AMA, let's actually make sure we get our page numbers filled in. This is page 1 of we'll see how many. Make sure that you go ahead and sign and date, and again have someone read off that your notes are complete and make sense. Okay. And so I like to, even though I know we're going to be putting down page 2 of whatever here, number your page, I still like to have that wheel and axle continued because then it makes it easy for me to see at the top what I'm starting with. Okay, so if we're dealing with the actual mechanical advantage, I'm going to go ahead and draw this wheel again. So this is funny, it's not even bothering to show the forces where they're actually applying. So we're saying that the wheel is driving the axle. So that means that the axle is going to be FR, and that's equal to 200 pounds. I like to put a little space and then really squeeze my L and B together so it doesn't look like 2001. And then that would be my effort force. We're saying that the effort force, the wheel is driving the axle, so that means the wheel is the effort force and the axle is the resistance. That is 70 pounds. Okay. And then to calculate your AMA, remember we're writing the formula first, exactly as it is with no substitution, FR over FE, because it's really easy to get that mixed up. So then AMA, we're going to substitute. That is, FR is 200 pounds divided by 70 pounds. And so then we solve. AMA is equal to, 200 divided by 70, that shouldn't be too hard. But I'm not going to waste time. Actually, yeah. All right, so let's see. If we round this off to 1 decimal place, that's a 5. 5 or bigger, we round up, so that'd be 2.9. Let's go ahead and round it to 2 decimals, though. So 7, 5 or bigger, we round up, so that's going to be a 6. So 2.86 units of pounds cancel. So our final answer here is 2.86 or 2.86 to 1. Either of those would be an acceptable way of writing that final answer. Remember, we're boxing in our final answer. Not even bother writing a new line because the solving didn't take much work. Okay. And then the final question that we have is, what is the efficiency of the wheel and axle assembly? So, efficiency. So we're going to do formula is equal to E is AMA divided by IMA times 100%. So sub E is equal to 2.86 divided by the IMA I had calculated was 0.3. Had I done that for? That was for if the effort was the 6. And now we're doing effort is the wheel, right? So let me write this down real quick. The effort is at the wheel. IMA is equal to 20 inches over 6 inches, which was equal to how much? That's right, 3.33. Well, so we did need to write that down. It helps. So then we'll divide this by 3.33. And don't forget that times 100%. And then solve. So I'm going to do 2.86 divided by 3.33 gives me, let's go with 0.86 times 100%, which is equal to 86%. There we are. See if we get the same in our little lesson over here. Yep, so they did 85.9, about the same, that works. Okay, so 86%. Okay, next we'll get into pulleys.